Oh, I love you, Adam, Alex, Peter, Brian, whatever your name is.
By the early 1960s, director Alfred Hitchcock, the master of suspense, was practically his own brand. Hitchcockian covered the full range of his trademark thrillers, from dark, disturbing obsessions to light, sparkling entertainments. Actor Cary Grant, meanwhile, was entering his fourth decade as on-screen epitome of the latter. Glamorous adventures of immaculate stars in exotic locations, whose witty, flirtatious, deception-fueled romances echo the thrilling mysteries they're embroiled in.
No getting rid of me, is there?
Hitchcock and Grant had recently collaborated on their biggest commercial hit, 1959's North by Northwest, the primary reference and reverence for Singing in the Rain co-director Stanley Donen's Charade in 1963.
Mr. Bartholomew, if you're trying to frighten me, you're doing a first-rate job.
Charade's vintage trailer shows how Donen deliberately aimed to take classic Hitchcock tropes and blend them for his own cocktail. Or should that be Hitchcocktail? Compare the opening titles from two legendary designers. In its designs, styles and fonts, Maurice Binder's Charade sequence clearly draws on Saul Bass's groundbreaking work on Vertigo, North by Northwest, and Psycho. Thankfully, Charade isn't content to stay a faithful Hitchcock tribute act and has a lot of fun spoofing what it loves. It also doesn't shy away from mocking the age gap relationship that its then nearly 60-year-old male star regularly had with his much younger leading ladies. Though to Cary Grant's credit, he recognised this in Charade and insisted on Audrey Hepburn's character doing the chasing.
Look, I know it's asking you to stretch your imagination, but don't you think you could pretend just for a moment that I'm a woman?
Now listen, I could already be arrested for transporting a minor above the first floor.
Hepburn herself, not the preferred Hitchcock blonde, never worked with the master. But she proves here to be a perfect foil for this kind of deluxe, blackly comic caper. Arguably even more of a style icon, and yet still a deft enough performer to be able to switch from screwball to serious at the drop of a Givenchy hat. And she can certainly hold her own with Grant in the traditional sexually charged romantic banter.
Hey, knock it off. Now come on, Reggie, listen to me.
Oh, here it comes, the fatherly talk. You forget I'm already a widow.
So was Juliet at 15.
But I'm not 15.
Well, that's the trouble. You're too old for me.
Even getting away with a riff on a famous North by Northwest line of dialogue.
Roger O. Thornhill. What does the O stand for?
Nothing.
Do you know what's wrong with you?
No, what?
Nothing.
Elsewhere, Charade stylishly finds multiple other points on the North by Northwest compass. Up-and-coming or class act character actors as ruthless villains. The same actor in a colourful supporting role.
Something on that bed is worth $250,000.
But what?
And a MacGuffin, the plot device or object that is ultimately unimportant, that actually has a clever twist here. But Charade's biggest homage of all is its use of Cary Grant.
I've got a job for you.
Grant made 4 films with Hitchcock. The first 2, Suspicion and Notorious, toyed with a more sinister side to his debonair appeal, something Donen's film also briefly flirts with. But Charade mainly takes its cue from his 2 later Hitchcock collaborations, showcasing peak Grant charm offensives.
Come in and watch.
Yet there's another North by Northwest in-joke that Donen doubles, in fact quadruples down on. Grant's characters shifting identities.
Did you call me Kaplan?
I know you're a man of many names, but I'm perfectly willing to accept your current choice.
What's your name?
Peter Joshua.
Dial. That's his name.
Sorry, the name's Adam Camfield.
And what's your first name today?
Brian.
Brian Crookshank.
It's North by Northwest and Charade's sharpest gag that Cary Grant, the singular personification of suave sophistication, could ever be mistaken for anybody else?
Wait a minute, what's that supposed to be?
Or are they actually subtle critiques as to whether someone as perfect as Grant appears could ever really exist? Speaking of impersonations, ultimately North by Northwest still stands as a unique example of Hitchcock on seemingly effortless peak form. To use as just one example, its iconic action sequences alone, Charade simply can't compete. Then few, if any, other movies can. But in terms of a then contemporary film attempting to recreate and even knowingly tweak the master's formula, the combination of Hepburn, Grant, Donen and company helps make Charade about as potent a substitute Hitchcocktail as a shot of the real thing could ever be.